All right, everybody, we are back, and we're continuing on with video games. So this next video game, have you played these? I mean, you know about them.
I've played a little bit of Assassin's Creed, but it's been a while. But I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, so this next, so there are other Mike said it, which is, I mean, that's fine. Don't freak out.
Yeah, this is again.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So the next one but we're doing the next one in the franchise. There's been some controversy behind it. We'll talk about it. I mean, we'll talk about it. Yeah, the series has not been doing well for a while, and so maybe this will be something good for it. So let's check it out. We are watching the trailer for The Action Pack Needs You. You can support Mike's After Action Reviews on our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Every quarter, once we've made at least $200, we're going to be giving away 10% of our earnings from Patreon in a giveaway over on our Twitch, so go check that out as well. You can find all of the links for everything in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Do your part. Support the pack. The Action Pack. Assassin's Creed Shadows Cinematic World Premiere Trailer, PS5 Games. Okay, so this is coming at us from PlayStation, and we're going to like the video. It's got 209,000 views, 15,000 likes, and it is ratioed at 26,000 dislikes. And we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Yeah, like I said, this series has not really been doing well for a while. And, like Valhalla and Odyssey just did not do it for me at all. I liked Black Flag. I liked some of the other ones that I played.
Yeah.
And they've been good. And it's a big franchise, but it's just not doing well. So, and now with this being ratioed, it's interesting. We'll have to see where it goes. So, available November 15th, 2024. Watch the official cinematic world premiere trailer of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Full gameplay reveal in June 2024, and it may contain inappropriate content for children. Okay, well, it's about people killing each other. So
it's probably does have it in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one, I'll tell you, is set in Japan, and people have been asking for Assassin's Creed in Japan for a long time, because what it is Assassin's Creed games, it's like you're a guy in the present day and you get into this machine, and then you basically experience the memories of someone from the past, but it has to be someone that you were related to, so if you were the great ancestor of Alexander the Great, you could get into this machine and experience the memories of Alexander the Great. Okay, but the thing is that they're all like from different areas of the world, and it's really cool. Okay, so now we're doing Japan. So there's a controversy about it. We'll talk about it after the trailer ends, and we will see why people. Maybe I don't know if the trailer is bad or if it's just this particular controversy that we'll get into. But we've got a 3-minute and 52-second trailer. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
My name is Stephen Russell. My co-writer, Joseph Miles Pittman, and I would like you to imagine a graphic narrative that disrupts the superhero genre's conventional boundaries. Tales of Nihilism unfolds a thought-provoking anthology with diverse story formats, from succinct comic strips to multi-saga issues. But at its core, the Ballad of Philip Kirshner explores existential challenges of an ordinary man in a world inundated with superheroes. The anthology challenges prevailing hero worship narratives, diving deep into societal introspection. We invite readers to confront uncomfortable truths about our culture's obsession with saviors and question the prevailing societal structures. The series is not just a comic, but an invitation to contemplate, challenging readers to reassess their perspectives on heroism and societal norms. It's an opportunity to offer audiences a fresh, introspective take on the superhero universe, sparking conversations, reflections on the human condition. You can find the series digitally on Global Comics, or follow the links below to get your own physical issue.
Here we go. Okay. It's a long trailer, so I'm going to try not to pause it too much.
Okay.
This is a cool cinematic. I'm liking the cinematic so far.
Who are you? Who do you serve?
Okay.
All I have ever known in my life. Our land.
Ubisoft. I'm going to tell you too, guys, just one second. I know I said I'm not going to pause it too much, and I'm going to try not to, but this name right here is what makes a lot of people anxious, you know, have a little bit of anticipation is Ubisoft. Ubisoft games have, like I said, it's been going down for a while. Not just the Assassin's Creed games, but other games. Ubisoft has not been great for a minute. Just one thing, I don't know if other Mike knows this. I'm sure that people who are watching this trailer do, though. One thing that we're hearing the voice of a woman in the trailer right now, and in Valhalla and Odyssey, you could play as either a man or a woman, which is fine. You know, I think that's okay. So, but you get to pick. Like, you get to pick in the beginning of the game. Do you want to play as the man or do you want to play as the woman? One feature that I don't know if it's going to be apparent in the trailer necessarily, but one feature that Ubisoft has said is this game, you're going to be able to play as the man and the woman. So you will play parts as the man, parts as the woman, and then you can switch between them, is my understanding. So, yeah. Okay.
That's not a big thing. I mean, you do that in some other games where you'll play a section and then it'll go and you take a character that might be a female and then one that might be on another. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's not the controversy. I'm just saying that is a feature. I don't know if it's gonna you're gonna probably see them fighting and see stuff happen here because I haven't watched this, but I don't know that it's gonna tell you can play as both through the campaign through the same campaign. Okay, but okay, here we go. Continuing on.
Our land.
Okay.
Our customs. My family. Burns in the name of unification.
Okay. Yep. Well, that sucks.
You are still a frog in a well who knows nothing of the sea.
This, just a second. This right here, this is the controversy. You're going to see it. Here's the controversy. It's coming up here.
Oceans filled with new ships, but they all come from the same river. Greed.
The male character is a black guy.
He's a black Japanese guy?
Yeah, so he's not a black Japanese guy, obviously. He's not Japanese. So we can kind of talk about it right here, and then we don't have to talk about it after the video. But there was a guy in Japanese history called Yasuke, and he was not my understanding is that he was not actually a samurai. He was what was called a sword bearer, and that was a person who basically carried equipment for the samurai. He was like a squire.
Yeah, like a squire. I was thinking of the word. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he never...
Yasu Squire?
So, honestly, to tell you the truth, he never, they don't know if he was actually real, okay? And if he was real, he never fought in a battle. He was just basically, my understanding of the history is that he was a guy who came to Japan, and I think he might have came as a slave. I don't know. You know, I'm not totally deep into the history. Let me know in the comment section down below.
No.
But he ended up in Japan. One of the Japanese lords was like, oh, that's cool. Like, whatever. I don't even know if they knew about black people at the time that he came to Japan. So one of the lords said, like, oh, I'll take him and make him basically my squire, and he can help me carry my swords. And I think it was just like he liked him. like as a personal friend type of thing. But this guy was not like some great warrior or anything like that. He never fought in a battle, and he might not have even existed at all. And people are upset because in all of the Assassin's Creed games, there was like for instance, there's an Assassin's Creed game that was made in the Middle East, and you played as an Arab person. There's an Assassin's Creed that was made during the time of the colonial times of the United States, and you played as a Native American person, Native American at that time, because controversial thing here, being Native means that you were born in a place. I was born in America, so anyway, so Native American for the time. Yeah, no, Native American for the time. So and then, anytime, and so like basically a big part of this controversy is that Japanese people are upset because this guy has basically no impact on their history at all. And there was a bunch of people who did have big impacts on their history. And why aren't we playing as a Japanese person in a game about Japan? You see what I mean? That's like a big thing in the controversy. And I personally, just to give you my own opinion, I personally don't, like, this was a real guy. So I personally don't mind them even changing the history a little bit to make him like a cool warrior and he's this cool thing. My problem with it is that it's Ubisoft and these big companies are doing this all the time, and I don't think that they're doing it from a place of being genuine. I think they're doing it from a place of, we'll cash in on the fact that he's black to make the story popular. It's a virtue signal. I don't think that it... And I think and the Japanese people have the right to be upset that their culture is basically being colonized here for the purpose of making this video game popular. That's not necessarily my opinion. Like, I don't care about that. I'm just saying, I just don't like the idea of virtue signaling. So, yeah. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that you'd like to bring up.
I think sometimes... Yeah, I think what'd you call it, virtue signaling? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to put it. There's a small percentage of the American population that is trying to control the rest of the American population to not just, it's one thing to be intolerant of other people, but it's another thing that they want you to celebrate that. And I don't think, necessarily this is it. I don't care if it's a black guy or not. It doesn't bother me at all. But I just like, if, like you said, if they're going to be, what you implied, is that if they're going to be consistent, Native American or Arab or like Japanese, they probably should do it. Why not have Assassin's Creed Congo, Then,
Actually, and I agree with that, yeah.
Cool. That'd be cool. I like that. Or South Africa or something,
Yeah.
Cape Town. That would be pretty cool because you could really make a good one out of that, because there's a lot of cool stuff that happened there.
And actually, that's a good point because the big thing is about the Knights Templar and how they're trying to get these ancient artifacts and whatever. Mm-hmm. South Africa would have been colonized at the time, would have been, like if it was an ancient history, it would have been colonized by the English, which means that the Knights Templar could have been there. And if the Knights Templar were there, then the League of Assassins would have been there. And you could have had an African assassin. That's a good point.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Zulu. That would be pretty cool.
Actually, exactly. Yeah, and you could have a guy. That's a good point because the Zulu were fighting. Yeah, man, we need to get with Ubisoft and
we need to talk to them. We could save their company. Give us like 5%. And
think about the Mike in the afternoon. Hey, what's going on, McLaren? Thank you for being in the chat. Great to see you. I'm just saying, imagine the aesthetic because the Zulu looked cool. They had ostrich feathers and it was black and white. So imagine like a Zulu assassin, like a guy who was Zulu, and he becomes an assassin, and he wears one second, I just scrolled out of the way. There was some stuff we don't want to see there. Okay, so there was like a black and white. He has the feathers, because one of the things in the Assassin's Creed games is the outfits you can get and changing your outfits, and you have like your traditional Zulu garb mixed in with Assassin's Creed stuff, like the hood and all that. That would be so cool looking. So yeah, I think it's dumb for them to kind of pull this card in. I think that, well, not necessarily dumb. Like if the game is good, it won't matter. If the game comes out and it's genuinely good, it won't matter. But if the game comes out and they try to do all this stuff about racism and all this, that's going to be dumb. That's going to suck. And also, I agree with you. There's a much better way to include a black protagonist. Go to Africa, use like a Zulu tribe member. There's a cool aesthetic there. There's some cool stuff. And
there's some really cool stuff. There's some really good stuff.
Like they do the wrist blades, you know? You could have a Zulu tribe member use the traditional Zulu spear, because the Zulus used a special spear. Normally spears are like real long with a real short blade. The Zulus invented the idea of having a blade that was like,
or Kenya, you know, with they got the different tribes there. They got the Maasai. They have the real long spear. That's some pretty tough. You know, there's some pretty big warrior tribes in Africa, well, all over. I mean, even South America. I mean, wherever they want to do it, but it's a lot of so I mean, it's you can do stuff if you really think about it. You know, you don't have to try to put a square circle, or square in a circle or whatever. You know, that's what it seems like they're doing.
Well, the thing. And you know what the thing is that if it's good, okay, fine, it'll be fine, right? But the thing is like, why take on the controversy when you could just do it with a Japanese guy, and then also later on down the road make an African Assassin's Creed, you know? If
they could have. Okay, I think outside the box. So maybe they could weave it into the story, because Portuguese traders were coming to Japan during that time, and then this guy was sold into slavery, in Japan.
Yeah.
I'm just, that's an actual thing that probably could have happened, anyways, but.
Yeah. Well, so that's what I'm saying. Historically, he was supposed to have, something like that was supposed to have happened, but like I said, he was not a warrior, he was not some mighty legendary samurai,
right.
He had no impact on the history. Japanese people are frustrated because most likely they're not going to make another Japanese Assassin's Creed, and instead of having like, Oda, I forget the guy's last name, but he's like, all these legendary Japanese swordsmen were having this guy who didn't do anything. So, but anyway, I'm sorry. We took some time to talk about that, but let's move forward here. This is probably going to be the biggest controversy this week that we're talking about with the trailers is this, but hopefully the game is good and then we don't have to worry about it. Because if it's good, if you change something or do something weird, it's okay if it's good. It's really bad if it's not good, though. But anyway, let's continue.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to try not to pause it anymore now, unless something real big comes up.
Vengeance.
I mean, it looks like, samurai are so cool.
Oh, dude, he's tearing him up.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Perfect setup.
And you? Will you continue down that river? Or choose another path beyond what we see?
So it seems like he's a bad guy. He starts off as a bad guy.
Yeah.
We must learn to trust, rebuild.
And follow the blade.
Okay. So she seems like she's going to be a bit more stealthy than him.
Right.
And then he'll be a little heavy hitter.
Oh, 3 stars. I like it.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay, different weapons. He's got the... I forget what that's called. But it's like that traditional bat weapon.
Wow.
I said...
Looks like he should be playing baseball.
Yeah.
We are the shadows.
Okay.
That served the light.
All right, so I'll just show you this. So the traditional Assassin's Creed wrist blade, which is the iconic weapon of the Assassins, we have never seen it do this before. Where it folds like that, so that's pretty cool. I wonder if they're going to...
Kind of like a switchblade on their wrist. You know what I'm saying? It's like attached to the wrist and pops out.
Well, typically, they have you can buy them. Like, Ubisoft sells these things that are they're toys. I wonder if they're going to make one that does this now. That's cool. And I've actually seen...
Cut your bread at home with it.
Yeah. Yeah, November 15th, I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. So this is going to be a $70 game. I mean, we'll look it up on Steam real quick, just to show you, but this is going to be a $70 game. It's coming from Ubisoft.
That price has got to be hard. I mean, that price is pretty deep.
What's that? So it's not on here yet. It's probably not coming to PC right away, but I'm not sure. It might be. So why wouldn't it be? It's well, anyway, it's fine. It's not. I don't see a Steam page yet. Yeah, coming November 5th. I'm going to tell you, we're probably going to go into the comments because the video is ratioed. It's going to be really negative.
Yeah.
But aside from the negativity of the audiences, what are you thinking of this one?
Okay. With all controversy set aside, it looks like it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Good graphics. Looks like they got some cool stuff, cool weapons and stuff like that. I don't know how much gameplay we got in it, but it looks like
it didn't show any gameplay.
Yeah, but it looks like it's it's consistent with the previous Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. So
yeah,
do you think there's that many Japanese? I was just thinking, is there many Japanese people that are really upset with this?
My understanding is yes.
Okay,
yeah.
And that probably the negativity in the 26 to 15K ratio probably then. But
yeah. Well, I think that it might have something, and I'm not an expert on Japanese culture, like modern Japanese culture. I'm not an expert on any Japanese culture, but I think that it has to do with a kind of a sense of pride. You know, it's like this is us now. Like I'm a gamer. I'm Japanese. I live in Japan. They make a Japanese samurai game, and I don't. You know, it's like, why wouldn't you make it with a Japanese person?
Yeah.
You know what they could have done, and something somebody else said is, why don't they just make another game and call it Yasuke?
Yeah.
And just have it be a story of this guy who overcomes adversity, sold into slavery, becomes a swordsman. And even if they did change the history, they could just make it a game about him, and then the assassins, when they make an Assassin's Creed game, they make it about a Japanese guy. Like, I think his name is Yorinobu Oda. The most legendary samurai. What was his name? I bet you if I type in Oda, it'll bring him up.
Yeah, why does it have to be samurai? Why can't it be ninjas? Aren't ninjas from Japan?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Oda Nobunaga. Yeah. Oda Nobunaga.
Mm-hmm. Just rolls right off your lips.
Yeah. But yeah, so that I think that they could have avoided the controversy. I don't know why they thought that there wasn't going to be a controversy. Maybe the marketing department should have just kind of thought about that a little bit better, but I think that I agree with you. I think it's cool. Like, if there was no controversy and everybody thought it was great, I think that it's just Japan is so cool. Basically, Assassin's Creed in Japan is what Ghost of Tsushima was, and I liked that game, so hopefully they do something good here with this game, and we get a similar thing. Let's check out what the comment section says, though. So, surprised they didn't reveal the Deluxe Ultra package worth $200. Okay, guys, remember this is Ubisoft, and that's the thing. I think that if this was from a more beloved studio and it was about a black samurai, I think that people wouldn't mind. There was a show called Afro Samurai. Nobody cared that it was a black guy as a samurai, but it just had to be good, and it was made by people who people trusted, and I don't know that the sentiment is good. Here, this is what people are saying. Game in Italy, play as Italian. Game in France, play as a Frenchman. Game in Norway, play as a Norseman. Game set in America, play as a Native American. Game set in Greece, play as a Greek man. Game set in Japan, play as a black man. Inclusivity. Yeah, game set in Iraq, you played as an Iraqi. Egypt, you played as an Egyptian. So, yeah. Be better than Ghost of Tsushima challenge. Difficulty level impossible. Guys, I know it's impossible. I just don't trust Ubisoft.
Well, they really need to get their name back. Work on how people perceive them, because they can put something out really good and people just don't want it because it's them.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, samurais were black. Why is there a black samurai in the samurai era Japan? What did I miss? Yeah, he's a real historical figure. This is somebody defending it, saying it isn't woke padding like the weirdos in the comments would have you believe. He wasn't this is the problem, is that he wasn't a samurai. Any reputable historical source, and you'll see he was a showpiece for the shogun, which, I mean, you have to realize black people were not very common in Japan, so it wouldn't make sense. The culture still does that even today. Yeah. He's he's an interesting historical figure, but people are trying to make him into something he's not. That's what people are bothered by. So you get it. It's almost completely negative. People are making fun of the game, and yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. DEI stands for death to the entertainment industry. There you go. That's a good point.
Yeah. Michael, a lot of times these companies, in their human resources, I forget what the person they have, but they have basically someone there in their human resources is the cultural sensitivity person.
Yeah.
And really, they're the woke meister in that company, and they do a lot of stuff that probably nobody really cares about. Like what was it? Was it Bud Light, the one that had the transgender guy that was on it, and they lost all that money? Yeah, so much for that. Someone should realize that that's not what people want a game. They don't want you to try to reinvent history and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I want to be very clear that this is irrespective even of what I believe necessarily. Like I said, I think that it would be okay. What the problem with it is that if I'm going to pay money for a thing, no matter what it is, exactly like you said, it's not about the fact that I don't it's not about the fact that I don't like red cars, okay? But if I go buy a car and I like green, and I'm going to spend $70,000 on a brand new car, I want the car that I want. And so if I go and if I order a car, or I go to the dealer and I say, I would like this type of car, and he says it'll be $70,000, and we only have it in red. Well, then I say, well, I'm not spending $70,000 on a car that I don't want. I want it to be green. I think that that's fair. I think that that's fair.
Right.
And and I don't think that it has to do with racism or anything like people are going to try to say. I just think that people want what they want, and I think that even this is the thing that bothers me. We have this whole stop Asian hate and all this racism. Okay, so you're telling me that white people are racist because they want another race than their own. They want to play as another race than their own race, but they don't want to play as the black race. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people say that, but it's like, I don't think that it's really about race. I think that it's about wanting to play. I don't even think it's about wanting to play as a Japanese person. I think it's just about being sick and tired of companies. Yeah, I think it's just being sick and tired about all of this stuff being injected by companies.
And here's the other thing is that Assassin's Creed, the original one that they set up, and tell me if I'm wrong, they set it up and they made this beautiful story about history, and that you go back and your ancestor, somehow you connect with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was based in history, based in, you know, this, like, I think one was in the colonies, right? Or England, and then there was
Yes.
the ones in other places. But, I mean, it kind of gave that type of understanding. So there were some things that were implied. When you see an Assassin's Creed, you're like, oh, okay, this is what I expect. And then all of a sudden, they switch it around to something different. Can they do that? Yes, but people they sort of had some expectations, and there was this kind of, can I use the word, there was this tradition that Assassin's Creed was using that was very successful, and all of a sudden they just jumped off the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've spent a lot of time on this one. Yeah, it was just so we've spent a lot of time on this one, which is fine. I mean, it's a big game. It had a little bit of a controversy, and it kind of is indicative of what's going on in the gaming industry right now. But now we are going to move forward onto our last video game for today. So here we go. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch and join the Discord where you can voice chat with me while I live stream, and you won't be recorded or anything on YouTube and Twitch, so that's pretty cool. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you like to read, you can see my after-action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in the description below.